A real basketball question. What would it look like if the most iconic franchise in the NBA decided that good is not enough and quietly positioned itself for one last ruthless superstar swing? Welcome to Lakers News Fan Report. I'm here with you, like always, speaking directly to every Lakers fan locked in around the world. If you stay with me until the end, you're getting what we do on this channel every single time. Updated info, legit context, cap realities, locker room dynamics, media signals, and smart speculation about our beloved purple and gold. No lazy clickbait, no fake done deal, just a serious breakdown of why Kevin Durant to the Lakers is back on the board as an idea people inside the game at least have to think through, even after his latest move, and what it would mean if Rob Pelinka and this front office ever decided to test the limits of what's possible. Let's set the stage properly, because everything starts with where the Lakers are right now. This is not the 2022-23 version scrambling for the play-in. This is a franchise that already made aggressive bets. Luka Doncic in the building as a franchise engine, LeBron James still present and setting standards, size and talent up front, money tied up in real players, not filler. The Lakers have shifted fully into "we are contending now" mode. The question is no longer if they're relevant, it's what separates them from being the inevitable pick in a 7-game series. We've seen this script before in Los Angeles. Once the foundation is there, they almost never stop at almost. They look at the board and ask one question: who is the next great player we can put in our colors that makes everybody else adjust to us? Now flip the camera to Kevin Durant's situation. Veteran superstar, still an elite shot maker, still a matchup problem, still a player who bends defenses in ways only a handful of guys on Earth can. After the Phoenix era fell apart, he lands in Houston as the centerpiece of a reloaded, ambitious project. The Rockets commit, he commits. Extensions signed for serious money, a sign of mutual belief and stability. On paper, that should close the door on the wildcard scenarios, right? Except this is Kevin Durant, and this is the NBA. The league's history and KD's own career arc tell us one thing very clearly: no situation is truly locked if basketball reality starts pulling in a different direction. Extensions protect value, they don't erase possibilities, and contenders that understand timing never stop running models in the background. That's where the Lakers enter this conversation, not because there is a report saying they're trading for Durant tomorrow, but because structurally they are one of the very few teams that can even imagine playing at that financial and competitive altitude. Look at the profile: a roster built around generational playmaking, a massive market, championship expectations baked into the walls, and crucially, a pile of medium to large contracts and future flexibility that can be stacked together when the right name justifies pushing all the chips in. This front office has already shown it's comfortable living in the deep end of the cap. That matters. If you track the way big moves start in the modern NBA, they never begin on the day the trade hits the ticker. They start months earlier with questions: is the star really happy in his situation? Where is the team's trajectory going? Are there internal disagreements on role, usage, direction? Does the contract structure make it easier to move him than to build around him? And most importantly, is there a team out there that can talk itself into being one Durant away without burning its entire identity? Whether you agree with it or not, the Lakers are exactly that kind of team people think about when they play that game. Let's be extremely clear with you the way I always promise on this channel. Right now, Kevin Durant is under contract, publicly committed, and there is no credible reporting saying he is forcing his way to the Lakers. That's fact. What we are doing here is taking the tools of serious basketball analysis and applying it to a scenario that keeps resurfacing in conversations, think pieces, and front office hypotheticals. If this Rockets project ever stalls, or if priorities shift, could a path open that sends Durant into a jersey that breaks the internet? And would the Lakers dare to walk down it? Start with the basketball fit, because if that doesn't work, nothing else matters. A closing lineup of Luka, LeBron, Durant, and the right complementary pieces is a defensive headache and a scouting report nightmare. You'd have 3 offensive organizers who can initiate, screen for each other, punish switches, and pick apart every coverage in the book. Durant as a third option scorer in stretches, attacking tilted defenses, spotting up, cutting from the weak side, that's absurd. He becomes the ultimate coverage breaker, the guy you cannot leave but also can't load up on because Doncic is manipulating the floor and LeBron is still the smartest processor in the game. Offenses win titles with that level of shot-making and decision-making. On the other end, you're not getting prime OKC length, but you're getting size across the board and enough defensive IQ to survive and scheme playoff possessions instead of bleeding them. Now think about LeBron's window and how the Lakers think about legacy. They know every year with him still at a high level is a non-renewable asset. They also know that if you can stack LeBron, Luka, and another all-time shot maker in the same uniform, you're not just chasing a ring, you're building one of those, if this hits, it lives in history forever rosters. That's exactly the kind of thing LA has always been willing to at least explore conceptually. And from Durant's perspective, strictly in theory, if at some point he looks around and wants one last run in the biggest possible spotlight next to two players who attract maximum defensive attention and on a brand that multiplies his narrative, there aren't many cleaner fits than the Lakers. Cap-wise and asset-wise, of course, it's brutal. That's where the conversation gets real. The Lakers are heavy at the top with Luka and LeBron, they've added size like Ayton, they've got role players on meaningful deals, and the new CBA punishes stars stacking. To make any Durant scenario even remotely functional, you're talking about a construction that strips depth, stacks multiple contracts, and almost certainly involves future picks in the 2030s. You're living in the second apron. You're killing flexibility. You're making a decision that says, we are fine living with minimums and late veteran signings around three monsters because we believe that's enough. That's not a casual idea. That's all in. From Houston's side, if we stretch this to its limit, what would have to happen? The Rockets would need to feel they've hit a ceiling with the current version of the team, or that age curves and timelines no longer align. They'd need a return big enough to justify offloading a still productive star with huge off-court value, and they'd be dealing with a Lakers front office that, while aggressive, doesn't have an infinite pile of future firsts left to move. That's why today this lives in the realm of high-end theoretical, not a meaningful one day. It's also why when variations of this idea show up in national media proposals, they come with disclaimers. It's complicated, it's extreme, it's everything or nothing.
That's where you come in. And that's exactly why I talk about this here on Lakers News Fan Report the way I do. Not as, look at this crazy fake leak, not as a cheap thumbnail, but as a live stress test of what kind of franchise we really want the Lakers to be in this era. A rumored, imagined, carefully modeled pursuit of Kevin Durant isn't just about his name, it's a mirror. It forces us to confront our standards. It asks if we're satisfied with controlled, safe, incremental moves that keep us respectable, or if deep down, we still believe the Lakers exist to do the things other teams are terrified to even attempt. Because when KD's name gets attached to us, even in theory, it's never just gossip. It's a question about identity. Are we the franchise that protects flexibility above all else, or the franchise that occasionally looks at the board, sees something outrageous, and says, if it makes basketball sense, we'll find out if it's possible? Even with the Houston extension, even with all the layers of the new CBA, all the picks, all the financial pain, Durant's name will keep hovering around any serious superstar conversation tied to the Lakers for one simple reason. He represents the purest, most extreme version of that question. If you say yes to that level of swing, you're declaring who you are. If you say no, you're also declaring who you are. And that's why this scenario matters even if it never gets close to real. It's not about convincing you this is happening. It's about checking the pulse of this fan base and this organization. When you hear Durant to the Lakers, is your first instinct to laugh and walk away, or to slow down and ask, under what conditions would that actually be smart? That reaction tells you a lot about how you see the window with LeBron and Luka, how much you trust the front office to solve depth around stars, how comfortable you are living inside the second apron if it means people have to go through you in May and June. For the organization, just running the internal math on a move like this is healthy. If they can't defend a hypothetical like this to themselves, they're not thinking big enough. If they chase it blindly without caring about the consequences, they're not thinking responsibly enough. That tension between ambition and discipline is where real contenders live. So let me close this out for you with the clean, straight version of the story. No spin. As of right now, there is no agreement, no framework on the table, no confirmed conversations, no backroom handshake sending Kevin Durant to Los Angeles. On paper, he is committed to Houston. The idea of him in purple and gold lives in that territory of speculative big-picture thinking, built on his history of changing teams when basketball situations shift, on the Lakers' long-standing appetite for stacking elite talent, on national media drawing up trade machine scenarios, and on the simple reality that front offices at the top never stop mapping out paths that look impossible until one thing breaks. That's all it is today. An exercise in, if the door cracked open, could we even fit through it? If that door ever did open, through a change in direction in Houston, through a mutual decision to explore options, through timing and leverage aligning, the Lakers would be staring at one of those organization-defining questions. Do you sacrifice depth, young pieces, picks deep into the next decade, and cap flexibility for a supergroup that could go down as legendary if it hits, or do you protect your structure and ride with the core you've already built? That's not a marginal decision. That's the kind of choice that stamps an era as genius or reckless. Nothing in between. Now, I want you to step into that decision with me. Forget noise. Think like someone who actually cares about banners. If the front office truly had a legitimate shot to bring Durant to Los Angeles at a heavy but survivable price, no fantasy robbery, a real cost, are you all in on a LeBron, Luka, Durant nuclear core and accept living in a stars and minimums reality? Or do you say no and double down on building a deep, balanced, younger rotation around the two cornerstones you already have? How many firsts? How many swaps? How many rotation players would you actually be willing to put in a proposal before you feel like you've crossed the line? And beyond the chessboard, what does a rumor like this, even as a constructed scenario, tell you about how the Lakers should approach the next phase of this competitive window? Should they keep flirting with monster swings or focus on stacking smart, medium-sized moves that extend the runway? Drop your thoughts in the comments, in detail. Don't just hit yes or no, walk through your logic. This community isn't built on empty hot takes, it's built on fans who understand where parades really come from. If you want every serious rumor, every cap breakdown, every strategic possibility, and every real update around our Los Angeles Lakers delivered to you like this, direct, honest, informed, and from the point of view of someone who lives this team the way you do, make sure you're subscribed to Lakers News Fan Report. Hit the like button, turn on notifications, and send this video to that friend who spends all day cooking trades in the group chat and swearing half of them could work. Here, whatever comes next, whether it's a quiet internal adjustment, a calculated trade, or a wild superstar scenario that shocks the league, I'll be right here with you breaking it down, play by play, contract by contract, rumor by rumor, until every possibility makes sense in the only language that matters: winning basketball for the Lakers.